video, which will look at changes in ownership interest, and this is basically a continuation of our advanced accounting studies.
Take a look at this graph, and we know that to achieve control, you have to have more than 50% so you achieve control in a company. Once you have more than 50%, so this is a 0%, this is 100%, so you achieve control in this area. We're going to have dealing with the following situation, what happens when you own less. So let's assume you started with 10%, then you increase your interest to 30%, you still have no control. You really like this company, you're going to increase your interest to 60%. Now you're going to achieve control. Now you may really like this company and go from 60 to 85%. Then after have both the shares, you think this company has peaked.
What happened? This is no control, this is control, and you go from no control to control, or control to no control. So how do we account for those transactions? Is what we're going to learn today.
By additional shares of the subsidiaries, how can you decrease your ownership? Well, obviously, and sell some of the subsidiaries' shares directly to the third parties, or having one of your subsidiaries sell additional shares to the third party. The old GAAP, how did you account for those transactions under the old GAAP acquisition of additional shares, handle and a step-by-step manner?
So when you buy an asset or when you sell an asset, the difference between the selling price and the basis is shown as a gain or a loss of the income statement. And this is old GAAP. Now we're gonna look at the new GAAP. Some of it is similar, but first forget about the gains and the losses. Every time we have to be careful when do we have gain and losses.
How does current GAAP account for those transactions, acquisitions that takes place at stages or partial stages, measure and recognize acquire ES identifiable assets and liabilities at 100% of their fair value on the day be acquired, obtain control.
So, let's take a look at this picture. Let's go back here. When do we obtain control? Here, we obtain control once we obtain control. We are saying once we obtain control, and basically, kind of we know this, but it's good to review. It once we obtain control, we measured asset and liabilities, and at 100% of fair value, we recognize all the qualities, goodwill, not just the parent companies.
In any previously held non-controlling interest should be measured the fair value, you need to go back, and you remember that have to go back to the original slide. Any ownership interest that we own here has to be measured to the fair value. So anything that has here to be measured, we measure at fair value, and after control as achieved, subsequent adjustment due to the increased ownership are shown as additional contribute capital, not as net income, and any adjustment as shown is that income for letter C.
Let me go back here. So anybody measurement that fair value goes to net income. And once control is achieved, we go from 60 to 85%. Any adjustment goes to any change of ownership. Adjustments goes into additional contributed capital, not net income. So we go from 60% to 85%, or from 55 to 90%, or from 85 to 96%. any changes from 50 to 100%, the additional adjustment goes to contribute additional contributed capital. Any adjustment need to make prior to our achieving control, which is up from the non-controlling interest. Any adjustments will go to that income.
And now, as parent closest control, if we go from 10 to 30, no control, what happens when you go from 30 to 60? This 30 will have to measure and we're going to work an example. We're going to have to remeasure this at fair value and any adjustment resulting adjustment is a gain or we goes into net income because went from no control to control.
What happened if we go from 60% to 85%? Well, any subsequent adjustment, if we have to the subsequent adjustment, basically the fair value that goes to additional contributed capital, additional paid in capital, additional contributed capital.
What happened if we go from 85 back to 20? Now go from control to no control. Then if that's the case, then we as payment losses control, again we should remeasure everything to fair value as we reported net income. So once we cross from control to no control, we adjust the fair value. What do we have? The gain or the losses that goes under the income when we go from control to no control or if we go from no control to control.
So let's go back and review one more time. Any previously held non-controlling equity interest should be measured at fair value with resulting in net income. If we go from non-control to control after non-control is achieved, now we're above 50%. Subsequent adjustment due to the increase in ownership are shown as additional paid in capital, not net income. So this is when we go anything from 50% to 100%. When we have control, we increase our control. We reduce our control but still have control. When parent loses control, and that mean is we're going from 50 to less than percent. Now you're going to retain investment